me to lower this? You can lower me. There we go. Thank you. Well, welcome to the very merry month of May. Ta-da! And today, actually the whole month, I decided I was going to play with this notion of paying it forward and giving it back. And we have been looking at ways to increase the involvement and activity of our outreach team. We've had a sign-up sheet, that's had a few names on it here for the last few weeks. And I thought that it would be helpful for us to designate more time and energy into this whole arena of service. And so today our topic is sacred service, seva. And that sacred service, seva, is a Sanskrit word that, as I put in the thought for the week, is taken as a whole. The word seva means together with, and describes the actions that seek collective uplifting through togetherness and integration. I have one of my readings that I do every morning is my paragrams. These are little short sayings from Paramahansa Yogananda. And I love the one that he has written. It says, "Life should be chiefly service. Without that ideal, the intelligence that God has given you is not reaching outward towards its goal. When in service, you forget the little self, and you will feel the big self, capital S, of spirit. As the vital rays of the sun nurture all, so should you spread rays of hope in the hearts of the poor and forsaken, kindle courage in the hearts of the despondent, and light a new strength in the hearts of those who think that they are failures. When you realize that life is a joyous battle of duty and at the same time a passing dream, and then you become filled with the joy of making others happy by giving them kindness and peace, in God's eyes, your life is a success." I love that one part where it says you forget. When you are in service, you forget your little self and you tune into your bigger self. I think that what that does is unites us. It does integrate us. It gives us this knowing, this unity, this oneness that we all are. And we feel it. When I was reading it something about give people what they need, I am in a coaching group of people. And many of these people in this group are ministers and they're caregivers and they're these type of folks. And so many of them in our calls will say how that they do it an over amount of time. They step out too much into people's lives. They want to do more than what they probably are, the boundaries allow them to do. And sometimes it comes back to bite them. And yet they're trying to do good. So be aware of that. If you are doing good, make sure that you're not overdoing it by stepping out into somebody else's territory. Or if you do good and it's not received well, don't get your feelings hurt. Know that where you're coming from is coming from your heart, and if there's something for you to learn in the process, to be aware of in the process, then be open to it. Be open to self-evaluation, to be open to, is that the best way I could have handled that? And so be aware that, I know I love the thing that do unto others as you would have them do unto you. But all of us have different tastes. All of us have different ways that we do things. So don't think just because this is something that I like and I want, that person's going to want it too. And so be aware of that in your givingness, okay? 2 Corinthians chapter 9, verse 6 says, "He who sows sparingly shall reap also sparingly, and he who sows generously shall also reap generously." When we look around us, the nature that is all about us, and our nature is abundant, it's infinite. This is what we are. There is no scarcity in nature whatsoever. God and life gives in its fullness. And we are made in that image, and that's what we are here to do, is to give of our fullness. And when we give of our fullness, it what returns to us, pressed down, flowing over. That's what happens. I was reading a quote from Pierre Foucault. I hope I'm saying his name right. He's a psychotherapist and a philosopher. He eloquently said, "Being kind is the smallest way to become who we really are." Just being kind is the smallest way to be who we really are. Our true nature is that of love. Our true nature, just like God, just like the nature that's all around us, is a giving nature. Wants to give of its fullness. That's what we are. I want to tell you the story about a mother who took their 2 children to the restaurant. And a 6-year-old boy asked if he could say grace before they ate. As the family bowed their heads, he said, "God is good, God is great. Thank you for this food. And I would even thank you even more if Mom gives us ice cream for dessert. And liberty and justice for all. Amen." Along with the laughter from the other customers nearby, the family heard a woman remark, "Tch-tch-tch. That's what's wrong with this country. Kids don't think that they don't even know how to pray, asking God for ice cream. Why, I never." Hearing this, the little boy burst into tears, threw himself into his mom's arms and said, "Did I do something wrong, Mom? Is God mad at me?" As the mother held him and loved him, she assured him that he had not done a horrible thing. In fact, that he had done a terrific job, and God was certainly not mad at him. Just then, an elderly gentleman approached the table. He winked at the little boy and said, "I happen to know that God thought that was a great prayer." "Really?" the little boy asked. "Cross my heart," the man replied. Then in a theatrical whisper, he added, indicating to the woman whose remark had started the whole thing, "Too bad she never asked God for ice cream. A little ice cream is good for the soul sometimes." And he walked off. Naturally, the mom brought her children ice cream at the end of the meal. The little boy stared at his for a moment and then did something unforgettable. He picked up his sundae and without a word walked over and placed it in front of the woman. With a big smile, he told her, "Here, this is for you. Ice cream is good for the soul sometimes, and my soul is already good." Out of the mouths of babes. We are here to be a vehicle, to be a channel, to be an avenue which this good is given. And ice cream is good. There was an article in the Globe, and it was written by Aaron Anderson, showing the benefits of what giving does to the giver. One study revealed that people who exhibit higher levels of altruism get a helper's high, a release of endorphins. This high can give the immune system a boost, speed recovery from surgery, and cut down on those restless nights. A Florida study of people with AIDS showed that those who volunteered to help others were likely to live longer than those who did not. A British poll of volunteers found that half of those surveyed claimed that their health had improved while they were volunteering. 20% of them claimed that they lost weight. So you see, if you want to lose a few pounds, get out there and give some service. Do some volunteering. The benefits are amazing. You have no idea what this universe is going to give you back in response for your giving. Unconditional. Remember that. Unconditional. If you're going to give, it's a gift. And they can receive it, they cannot receive it, they can pass it on to the next person, that's fine. Make sure you give with the right attitude. Rumi told of a man who walked past a beggar and asked, "Why, God, do you not do something for these people?" God replied, "I did do something. I made you." When we see something, when we see a need, there's a reason for that. Act on it. Listen to the promptings of your heart as to what is it can I do? And it will benefit you, absolutely, in return. I was reading the paper last night, and I noticed, in our outreach team, we typically go to the Alpine View Lodge to visit the people there and the Alzheimer's patients and so forth. And they were going to do a fundraiser a while ago, and then it got called off. Well, that fundraiser is back on today. At 1:30, they are having their fundraiser, and since today is what? Cinco de Mayo, right? It's called Taco Bout a Care. They're located at 973 Arnold Way, and for a $10 donation, you can enjoy a fabulous menu of Mexican specialties and margaritas to help them reach their goal of $75,000 for the Alzheimer's San Diego and the Walk for Alls. So you see, you can give the $10. Now, I don't know if you're going to lose weight after this. But it's a win-win. And so I would highly recommend, I would be there today if I were not going to the ball game. But I'd love to see a group of you to head on over there at 1:30 to see check it out. And they love us to come. When we come and we offer them goodies, usually for some sort of a season that's happening. We were there for Easter, and we'll probably be there 4th of July and type of thing. And they love to have the connection. In fact, this one woman, I remember we were there this last time, she was quite talkative, and she kept saying how, "Oh, this is such a great thing for you people to do, to get out here and see people like me that can't get out. That this is, I commend you for doing that." So what we are doing when we're giving is we're giving of our love. There's many ways to give. We can give of our time, we can give of our treasure, and all of that literally comes from love. Giving is a commitment. Conscious giving, intentional giving, takes time. It takes a knowing that this is something that I want to do from my heart. In the book I have of, what's the name of the book? I don't have it right in front of me, but I think it's called Unconditional Giving. It says, giving unconditional love takes a great deal of time, commitment, compassion, and mindfulness. Oh, here it is, right here. It's in my quote. In the book, The Power of Giving, that's it. It states, mindfulness means that you are conscious of your motives, feelings, and thoughts, examining them regularly. We have a mindfulness class that goes on every week at 2 o'clock here. And it's all about mindfulness. It's about being aware of what's going on with you right now. You are also willing to let go of outcomes, also known as non-attachment. To achieve non-attachment, you must train your mind to understand that you can't control the outcome of all situations and events. You can still care about, struggle to achieve, and hope for a certain outcome, but whether you get what you want or not, you realize it's still okay. Of course, this is easier said than done, yet increasing your mindfulness is a great gift of love to yourself and to all those who come in contact with you. It allows you to reduce tension, increase understanding, and build strong relationships. After all, the better you know yourself, the better person you can become. When we are aware of what's going on inside of us, our feelings, again, in my coaching group, that's one of the things that we're looking at as we deal with this book that we're going, Growing Yourself Up. And the fact that as we were growing up as children, we learned by our environment certain things that we took into our conditioning, so to speak, onto our unconscious or subconscious conditioning. And so when we become an adult, sometimes those are what we have called our buttons. Our buttons get pushed, and all of a sudden we have these knee-jerk reactions that just come out of nowhere. We think, how did that happen? And it's being aware of our feelings. And to say, I feel this way. I've been listening to Reverend Dr. Jeanette's CDs that it's a program that she has on the internet. And she uses that I am mantra. You breathe in, you say I, and out is am, and you are visualizing this golden light that's going down through the top of your head out through your trunk into the earth, and it's this light of love, of the peace, of the being that you are. And that I am presence is very important, what you say after I am. In one of the lessons, I think it's lesson 7, there's 10 lessons that you can get for $20. And you can listen to them as many times as you want. But I think it's lesson 7 that says that you be aware of your words after I am. And you can say, I am feeling apprehensive. But you don't want to say, I am feeling fearful. I am afraid. So make sure that you make that little distinction. I am feeling this way, and you don't want to deny your feelings. But once you say, I am blank, you are sending a message to the universe, and you are declaring something. So be careful of how you use those words, and be aware that I am feeling this way. Why? Let me stop and be mindful of this. What's coming up for me? Why is it that I would have this knee-jerk reaction in this regard? And you very likely might remember, oh, well, you know what? I remember my mother or my father, or as I was growing up, this is what happened in that type of circumstance. And then you can be kind and gentle to yourself. We cannot give what we don't have. So we have to first be kind and gentle to ourselves and give ourselves this wonderful, loving, unconditional grasp to feel that divineness that we are. Very, very important. What else can we give? Oh, what is the greatest commodity besides love that we have? Our time, huh? Our time. There's just so many minutes clicking away in this lifetime that we are truly unaware how long they are. So the how we give our time and what we give our time to is so vitally important. Be aware of, well, how am I spending my time? Am I using up my time on just trivial stuff? Now, I love to watch baseball. Now, as I was watching the game last night, I was also reading this book. When we give of our time to another is one of the most precious things that we can do. And one of our congregants told us that recently, that they said, you know, I have learned to listen to others. When I am in their presence, I am fully engaged in what they are saying. Not trying to think about what I'm going to say next. That is so important. What a gift to give someone your full attention. And guess what? You might learn something. You might become aware of something that you didn't know before. Why? Because we are interconnected. There is this beautiful golden thread that is coming through us. There might be just the one little seed of the piece of the puzzle that you will need to finish some project that you've been working on, that somebody you had no idea was going to say to give you that piece of that puzzle. You have to give them the time. You have to give them the attention. It's very important. Carve out the time to put first things first in your life. Make sure that when you have that container, you put the big rocks in first. Honestly, really, and maybe it's because I'm up here preaching, and I probably say this more than once, really do honor and give your spiritual life the value it deserves. Because we all know that what ends up in our experience comes first from that seed of spirit, from that unseen realm, that source, that substance that we are, brings to us whatever the experience is that's in the outer. Nurture it. Love it. I love my I am. Can you do that? How many of you are looking at Louise Hay? I mean, how many times does she say, I love you. Look in that mirror and love yourself. Give yourself. We all know that when we're in the airplane, the oxygen mask comes down. We've got to take it first before we can help someone else. We cannot give what we don't have. Give of yourself. Make yourself full so that you're spilling out, overflowing with this value that you are. Truly, truly. Think about, in this coming week, how you can give sacred service. What is the seva that you can provide to others? Look at the amount of time and energy you're spending in certain ways. Give of your love. Give of your joy. Give of your strength. I wanted to close with the song that we had sung here at times, As I Give. If you remember it, you can join me. I have to pull out the words to it because we hadn't sung it in a while. As I give, so do I receive, joyfully, gratefully. As I give, so do I receive, fully, freely. God is the river where abundance flows. Stepping into it, I accept and know. As I give, so do I receive. As I give, so do I receive. Have a beautiful week. Namaste.